Guruji, what happens after death? Is really heaven or hell exists after death?
Heaven or hell? I don't know, but then I'm very sure that you will exist after death in your memories of people. Anyways, there are so many connotations, scriptural and these days many scientific experiences people have experienced and near-death experiences and so on. But instead of trying to explain you what happens after death and why we take rebirth, and is there heaven or hell, or why we take rebirth, to explain this, I will give you this beautiful example. If you see, we have after 12th class entrance examinations for engineering or medicine. A 12th class guy or a girl, the moment they complete their exam, they write an exam, entrance exam. Some people fail. Some people, they don't get any rank. They fail. Now, once they fail, there will be some people who will have an enormous amount of realization that I wasted all my 11th and 12th to study properly. I could not do this. I want to be a doctor or an engineer. I could not do it. There will be some people who, instead of going into that enormous amount of turmoil or that push or churning happening within them, they accept, okay, I could not get it, and they will take BCom and go ahead. Yes or no? There will be some people who will get their B pharmacy, or they will get some other lower seats, and they want to get engineer or medicine, they want in a better college. So they are not satisfied with their rank. All three, you will find all. You will find people who will accept and they will go for BCom. You will find people who failed and they churn and they will realize, I wasted all my time doing this and that. I should have focused more. And then all the realization or the importance of education dawns onto them. And they go into enormous amount of self-churning. There will be people who will not be satisfied with their rank and they want a better rank. There will also be people who got the rank that they want. Now, if you see, life is also, you are continuously in your progressive examinations, and after your life, after you are dead, your sudden conditionings of your own mind that you have accumulated during this lifetime, your own personal likes and dislikes, they will be set aside, because all these personal likes and dislikes of you are in your mind. Now, what happens? Your body is dead, so your attachment towards, because if you are an Andhra person, you will like eating rice. If you are a North Indian person, you will like eating roti. Now, why do you like eating your rice or roti? You have a constant attachment to your body and to your surroundings. Your mind is now conditioned towards it. So, as long as that is there, you have this enormous amount of liking or thought pattern associated with that. So, your food habits or your general life, your general likes and dislikes are mostly bodily or situational oriented. That's called positional intelligence or position-oriented mind. Am I clear with you? So, the position-oriented mind after death is dislodged from the body. Then, every student, if he has got a good rank, he will get that enormous churning, or he will accept. The same fashion, we also, after our death, we accept, okay, this is the best we could have done. We accept the fate of life, and they progress slowly in their life. There is enormous amount of frustration happening within people, and that is what defined as hell. Am I clear with you? God, you have to understand, your mother and father, do you think will design any punishment to you so that they want you to suffer? No. Any punishment is designed so that you align in your life and grow, only to make you realize you are. So, in the same fashion, the existential intelligence is not interested in troubling people. There is nothing called as hell and heaven and heaven you will enjoy. No, after your result, 12th, after your entrance exam, after you find out your result, you will either enter hell or heaven based on your own mindset. If you have got the rank that you want, you are in heaven. If you have, so people, how they get the rank they want now, analogy, how to correlate it with every human being in his life or in his or her life, they check whether they are fulfilled with it or not. That is the reason why they say, if you die with a lot of unfulfilled desires, you go to hell. Fulfillment is not about buying a car or buying a house or something like that, a product. If you understand, in your life, when you look at yourself, are you really proud of yourself? Are you proud of what you are doing in your life? Not, situationally or positionally. Have you lived your life so that you can feel proud of yourself? Or have you wasted your life to the conditionings of your mind, to the likes and dislikes of your mind, or coming in influence of the situational stresses in life? That is the reason why they say, if you do suicide, you will definitely enter into hell. Why is that so? Why do you do suicide? If you are able to understand, because you are enormously frustrated with your life. And now, why you are frustrated? Because of your positional circumstances. And once you die and you leave your body, and once your body is cremated or buried, then this positional intelligence goes away, then the mind goes into an enormous churning. Why did I further waste my life? Am I clear with you? So, the mind is the thing that enjoys heaven. Mind is the thing that enjoys hell. Mind is the thing that creates both heaven and hell. That is the reason why Sanatana Dharma says, Mannat Karanam iti bandha mokshayoho. Mind is the creator for the bondage, and mind is the creator for liberation. Remember, it is on your mind. So what happens after death is, there is no specific designed heaven for all religions. There is only one mind without its own positional intelligence, and it will decide, you will decide on your own self whether I have lived a fulfilled life or I have wasted my life. If you have wasted your life, you will get frustration, or you will get that kind of enormous internal churning, pressure on what to do. Then you want to say, okay, now I will go back and I will do like this, and this I will do. Next time I will study well. The student who has failed in his entrance, he will say, okay, next time I will attempt long term this time, and this time I will get good rank. And this time I will not be distracted. Okay, the parents will put him into long term. In that also, you understand, there are a group of people who are now into enormous churning. Oh, I didn't get rank, I failed. This time I will not be distracted. Out of 100, there will be 20 students like that. All 20 students come back into long term, next life. And now in this 20 also, again, because it is a momentary pressure after getting the result. After that, when you study again in the long term batch, again distractions will creep into this 20 people, and 10 people will be again subjected to distraction, they will fail. But 10 people will remember to that intensity of frustration that happened. That time I felt like that. This time I should not give in to this frustration. This time I should not watch the IPL. I should study. Am I clear with you? That way, every soul, they come with an agenda. They say that agenda is all decided by your own mind, because truly, deeply, when you look into yourself, introspect deeply, Swa Adhyaya is what the Sanatana Dharma gives the word here. When you do an enormous, deep self-analysis into yourself, not giving in to your likes and dislikes of your positional intelligence, are you truly fulfilled? Do you feel that you are a fulfilled person? I like this, so I am like this? No. Because I like this, so I am like this. You know what? I like this, so I do whatever it takes. But after some time, people, you can find so many examples where people, they subscribe to an idea and they do a lot of things in their life. After some point in time, they get averse to their own liking. They love and they get married and they live for a long time with love, and then suddenly they come across something and then they get irritated, agitated about the person. These things happen, yes or no? So, momentary likes and dislikes or your positional likes and dislikes, they don't matter. Do you really feel that you have lived your infinite potential? When you die, every human being, every life force will realize, I am infinite potential existence. Did I do justice to myself? Did I do justice to my infinite capability within me? And when you realize the word no, then you want to do it in a certain fashion. And so they say again, the soul will come in the next life, because you have to understand, it's like a test. Even the Bhagavad Gita or even the Kathopanishad, they says. Am I clear with you? The Kathopanishad clearly says, the Atma is the owner of the chariot. Body is the chariot. Am I clear with you? And this Buddhi is the driver. This mind is the reins. And the five senses are the horses. You tie the reins to the horses in the chariot. The body is the chariot. Atmanam radhanam viddhi shariram radhamevatu is what the sloka says. So if you understand, the Atma is the owner. My own infinite potential is the owner. My body is the chariot. My buddhi is the driver. My mind is the reins. My senses are my horses. Am I clear with you? And I enjoy this process because I want to experience. I am infinite potential. Infinite potential, until otherwise manifested as infinite potential, will not be happy and fulfilled. Yes or no? Imagine you are a very good artist and I say you can't paint in your life, ever. You feel happy about it? You are an excellent cook and I say you can never cook in your life. Will you be happy about it? Remember, if you are an excellent cricketer and I say you can never play cricket, will you be happy about it? You can only be fulfilled when you can express your own capability, manifest your capability. So is every human being. If you cannot manifest your infinite possibility as an infinite possibility, or if you cannot realize it consciously, you will not feel fulfilled about yourself. And when you have not fulfilled about yourself, you always find something lacking within you. And that is the reason why every lifetime you keep searching for some lacking within you and work for it. But even if you try or fulfill any small gaps in your life, you will not be fulfilled, because until otherwise you understand and be happy with your humongous infinite potential, you will not be. By doing small things, I love cricket. I really believe I am an excellent cricketer. In this match, I have only done very good fielding. I am not satisfied. Okay, in next match, I have done fantastic bowling. I am not satisfied. In the next match, I have done fantastic batting. I am not satisfied. In the next match, I have been a fantastic 12th man. I am not satisfied. In the final match, I did all-rounder. I did everything perfectly, but my team lost. I am not satisfied. But my team lost. How can I be really satisfied? when you don't bother about your team, you be a team player, but don't bother about team, winning or losing. When you know that you have played excellent cricket, and when you are not affected by the winning and losing of the team, but still being a team player, then you are fulfilled in that match. Yes or no? If you think, you will understand. So, spirituality is a gift for a life well lived. In the same fashion, in your life, you will continue to have a next life and a next life only because you will be compelled to manifest your own inner infinite potential as is. You want to be proud of yourself that I am absolutely capable. You should not feel short of yourself. You should not feel that I have not done this, I have not done that. You should be fulfilled. That is the reason why they say Kamarupam Durasadam. If you read Gita, Indriyani Paranyahu, Indriyabhya Paramanaha, Manasastu Parabuddhi, Yo Buddhi Parasastu Saha. They say. So, if you see, they don't stop it here in the 3rd chapter. The Lord Krishna, he gives all answers in a perfect way to make you understand that if you follow the path of existential reality, then you will understand you being absolutely proud of yourself is more important. And until otherwise you are really proud of yourself, any of your actions of your mind, any of the actions of your buddhi, any of the actions of your or attainments or achievements in your life, they don't make much sense. So, do you think there is hell? You realizing that you have fallen short of your own expectations is called hell. Is there heaven? You realizing that you have lived a life which is worth living, that's called heaven. And you realizing that you have manifested and experienced your own humongous potential, that's called mukti. And as long as you don't have that, this life is a continuous, progressive trials to express your own perfection in life. You don't come here for things. You come here for an experience of fulfillment within you. That is the reason why you get something, you're not satisfied. You quickly want to buy something else. You have a bike. You want to buy a car. After buying a car, you want to buy a bigger car. And after that, you want to buy a private jet, finally. Why these desires keep increasing? Because they keep increasing to only let you know you are not fulfilled by things. You are fulfilled by the experience of your own infinite capability. As long as you are not satisfied that I am capable, that feeling is not certain. Your capability will always ask you to stretch, expand further and further in life, only to one day make you realize that you are fully capable. So, you realizing that you are absolutely infinitely capable is mukti. So, is there heaven and hell? Yes. Will you come back? Depends on how fulfilled you are. Should you come back? You ask me again. I say yes. Jai Gurudatta. Jai Gurudatta. Jai Jai Gurudatta.